Hello, everybody. Psychic Soul Senses here. I got a good one. I hope everybody's doing well. If you don't mind, like, share, and subscribe because it helps the channel. I want to talk about Butler County, Ohio today. Now, as you all know, I am a resident of Ohio, and I am totally against corrupt cops and police brutality. And it is a big, big issue in Ohio. And I'm going to show you the proof. I'm going to show you Ohio's report card. And Ironton doesn't rank very good. They're very abusive. And this is enough. It's enough. It's enough. And on the document of the report card, at the bottom, we will find state representatives that we can contact to work on police reform in our state. Our entire state needs it. We're the worst in the United States for police brutality. And on a scale of 0 to 100, we don't rank very good in our police departments, period. So there really needs to be some kind of change. I'm excited to show you guys this. I want to pray for the woman in this video that got beat in the face on Martin Luther King Day in Butler County. That is awful. I'm horrified. Okay. Another channel already covered a little bit of this, but I am going to show you the chief and what his response was to all this, so you can kind of see the mentality of the cops in our area. If I could cut and paste this chief, the know-it-all chief that doesn't know anything, that is what we have in every county and city, is that cop. Cut and paste. Same cop. They're like paper dolls. I mean, it's awful. We got to do something. We got to be the voice. We got to be the change. We got to be the reason someone believes in good people. We got to. We are only here to walk each other home, and we got to help a family soul member out. We got to. We got to fix this issue. You guys know how I feel, so I'm going to show you. I may have to shut my screen off because I don't want to look like Max Headroom. It's not a good look. All right. Now, first, I want to show her. I want to show what happens to her first. There's old Chili Dog. Chili Dog and his dog. Oh, come on. Bear with me, guys. This is good. This is good stuff. I'm rearing up. I'm really not happy.
Currently, you mentioned Sergeant Taylor's on leave.
Okay, we're going to go back on that video, but let's go find. I wish I wouldn't have went back.
At this time, I'll take a few questions.
Is Jake Lucy?
Hang on. I can't stand this guy. That's the guy I was talking about. Can't stand him. Has to be up here. I had it earlier.
Yep. I almost lost my life behind it.
The woman in this disturbing video, Latika Hancock, emotional as she relives Monday's encounter with Butler Township Police.
why I said I'm going to be quiet now. I'm going to stand up. I'm not going to be George Floyd. They're not going to get me on the ground.
Police body cam video is showing us what led up to the moment a Butler Township police officer punched Hancock 3 times in a McDonald's parking lot.
She refused to take my dollar to give me 30 cents after I paid it for extra cheese. So then she got an attitude because I asked her for a refund and called the police because she didn't want to give me back my money.
Officers Todd Stanley and Tim Zeller listened to her side of the story, then asked her for her first and last name to issue a trespass notice.
If you don't stop, you're going to end up going to jail. Stop.
Hancock, Hancock, write it down. So
Calm down.
I'm not giving you nothing, I already said it.
Okay, you're under arrest.
No,
Put your hands
I'm
behind your
not.
back. Put
No,
your
I'm
hands
not.
behind your back.
No, I'm not.
You are under arrest for failure to identify.
It quickly escalated. Officers grab her, and Zeller pulls out his taser. Hancock tries to reason, but it's too late. Officer Stanley strikes her 3 times in the face and head.
You punched me on your own will.
No, it says
I didn't punch you.
Feet up.
I didn't resist.
Feet up.
Awful. Awful.
You guys see this amazing truck? My car insurance company was totally ripping me off for it until I found this. All right, guys.
That's currently.
Here we go.
Sergeant
This
Taylor's
Jericho.
on.
Disciplinary action. At this time, I'll take a few questions.
Is what we're seeing.
Here.
Administrative investigation will include interviews and statements from any and all possible witnesses, including any other officers that were involved.
Because I'm going to stand up for my corrupt police officer friend. And this is stupid. We're going to investigate and get people and see what this is dumb. She was a paying customer on commercial property.
The assigned investigator will review and investigate the complaint and forward their findings to the chief of police. If improper conduct is found as a result of the investigation.
And I'm just curious, did anybody see when the cop got there, did anybody see in that video the cop go in and talk to anybody at McDonald's? No, one guy was getting forms out of the back of his vehicle the whole time, and the other was harassing her.
The findings will include a recommendation for disciplinary action. At this time, I'll take a few questions.
Is what we're seeing from Sergeant Stanley, is this a part, John?
Just disciplinary action, because she did resist arrest. For what? What for? He'll tell you in a minute. There's a whole chart on when they're allowed to punch. And he even talks about, they'll include in that statement the ride to jail, how she acted. Yeah. I bet she called him bitch and all kinds of stuff, big and tyrant.
Is that something that officers are trained for? And if so, when are they supposed to use that?
So funny. It's funny. Both of you guys are talking over each other.
Okay, want to go ahead and review.
What we saw from Sergeant Stanley, is that a part of officers' training? And if so, when are they supposed to use that?
Okay, so part of the training that the officers do receive, they receive yearly training in use of force and defensive tactics. Use of force and defensive tactics also include punching, striking, and hitting certain areas of the body when needed and for personal protection.
Because those cops, they were in danger. Yep. She had a receipt in her hand and she was going to slice them and give them paper cuts.
If we bring up our use of force continuum, which is part of our training modules here, you can see things that are always considered when the individual's actions, if they're wrestling with an officer, pushing an officer, pulling him away. The officer's responses include striking large muscle groups, takedowns, joint manipulations, and
Yeah, because how dare you pull away? How dare you?
then even wrestling and pushing, striking, punching, kicking, aerosols and baton restraints. Aerosols
Okay,
are mace.
Bobby.
And so these are incorporated into the yearly training that the officers receive. So
Do you
So
think
that's
that
a follow-up.
conduct was warranted?
one at a time.
So
Do
that's
you
a
think
follow-up.
that conduct?
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
So as a follow-up, as that's part of the training you just covered, do you believe what we just saw was an appropriate use of that tactic, was it appropriate for that situation?
We do not specifically train to punch in the face unless it's a defensive tactic in order for the officer to have some type of defense
So do
to
you think it was
themselves.
appropriate? Do you believe it was
It's-
appropriate?
You know, we don't teach them to punch in the face unless the officer needed to gain control over the victim.
I'm not going to comment on the appropriateness until the entire investigation is completed.
Do you
So
think
at this
your
time,
officers used excessive force here?
I'm not going to comment on that until the entire investigation is complete and the recommendations are forwarded to me.
Chief Porter, thank you. I apologize to Mr. Bedell. No intentions intended. At what point was the suspect, the arrestee?
I mean, he even got mad and red in the face and intimidated the press, you know?
Why was she cited for driving a vehicle when she was never in a car?
We'll be reviewing all of the charges also as part of that. I can't really comment why she received a citation for that at this point.
Also, if I may add, who is doing the internal investigation?
Our agency is doing the internal investigation. I have an officer assigned from inside the agency to do it.
Thank you.
Why
So
not have the Attorney General's office investigate this? Why are you investigating yourselves?
Many agencies do their own internal investigations. So
Correction, corrupt agencies do their own investigations because we got to cover up for our corrupt pigs.
any of the other smaller agencies, Vandalia, they all conduct their own internal investigations.
But with the degree of this, don't you think it's important for there to be an impartial party that comes in and looks into the conduct of your officers?
What do you mean, what degree? That's normal. We always use excessive force.
Well, that depends. I mean, so when we're looking at the degree of what we're talking about, are we talking about the video that we saw, or are we talking about what the degree of the officer's response was?
What's the difference between the two, Chief?
So if we look at the degree of what an officer's response is to resistance, as you can see,
Yeah, she was resisting arrest over a mismade cheeseburger.
baton techniques, even down here, electrical devices like the taser. We don't have the Attorney General's office come in and do an investigation every time we use a taser.
But see, all that was okay because he's seen a woman of color. He's starting to seem racist to me. And, you know, excessive force was needed because she was going to harm those officers.
So,
But you didn't use a taser. This woman, from your video and from the video that we've all seen here, it seems like this woman was hit several times by one of your officers, and right now it's gotten to the point where even that same officer, as you just mentioned, is on leave.
that's right. We have him on leave while we conduct this investigation.
Do you think it's odd that he wanted ID for something that doesn't require ID?
It does require ID, okay?
What's
So
that?
the officers were out there on a legal criminal trespass complaint, and it does.
How do you get a legal criminal trespass? That would be if you've already committed a crime. She did not commit a crime.
Require for that individual that they made contact with them to provide them ID.
Because she was committing a crime
Huh? It was
Because she was
trespassing. Yes,
committing
she
a
was
crime.
trespassing.
over a cheeseburger?
She was trespassing, okay? I'm not going to argue with you or anybody else here. I'm just going to provide you.
I'm not going to argue with you or anybody else here because I'm right and you're wrong and I'm a pig, and this is why my officers use brutality, because I condone it.
The information.
Yeah.
So if you want to argue, this is the wrong forum to do it, okay? I'll provide you.
He wanted to say, if you want to argue, I'll go ahead and take your ID and information and run you. and manhandle you and get you in jail for some charges, okay?
The information and answer your questions, but if you create argumentative, then we're going to end this. Okay?
Chief, you've already talked about how your internal affairs investigation, that looks into essentially whether anybody faces professional punishment. When that is completed, will a prosecutor's office review whether anything about this was criminal?
If that is forwarded to me as part of the investigation, that there's criminal intent involved also, then yes, that will be a prosecutor's review also will be looked at.
And what is Officer Zeller's employment status currently? You mentioned Sergeant Taylor's on leave. What about Stanley? Officer Zeller, what is his?
Officer Zellers is not placed on administrative leave at this time.
Are any of the officers on the Brady list at this time?
No.
Did the officers have a choice to charge her with trespassing, or like who is that up to?
Yeah, they did. First offense is usually just a verbal warning and you leave. And then if you come back and you start crap, well, then they come back and take your ID and give you a ticket.
The business, or is it up to?
The business requested that she be.
And so they had to do it?
So yes,
Okay,
the business requested that she be charged with, or not be charged, but that she be given a formal warning for trespass.
Okay, and that includes the paper that they need to do?
Okay, so what?
That includes, I'm going to run your name and I'm going to beat you down if you don't comply.
What you'll see is one of the documents. Do we have the calls for service on?
I can pull it up.
Okay. We'll bring up the calls for service sheet where the actual business told dispatch that they wanted the person trespassed from the property. And that requires a formal trespass form, has their name filled out on it, and then they're given a formal. And that's done customarily, and because they're out there on a disorderly complaint, which is a violation of the law, it requires them to identify themselves.
So that's not just because the.
So now you can't complain about your food, man, because you might get beat up and put in jail. That's what that means. Wow. Like, wow. Wow. So don't, if you're traveling through Butler County, try to go around Butler County. Don't risk ordering food. Don't. Unless you want to be beat up and trespassed from public place. Because you don't get formal warnings. No, you don't get a, hey, you need to leave. The owners asked me to ask you to leave. Don't come back. No, you get, if you don't comply, I'm going to beat you down. And that's what he did, man. Straight up beat her down. Okay, so you're going to like the other thing I want to show you. You're going to like this. Let me close this. Okay. Oh, yeah. This is the data for each department. So find your end the violence, enter your street address and find your rep. I did that earlier. Nationwide. Let's see, let's just do that. How I found this is I searched Ohio police brutality. And this nifty little map showed up. Yeah, nifty. It was nifty. Okay, so now that it loaded, 46% statewide. Whoa. Average for 4 sections, 48%, but a total of 46%. Going from 100 or 0 to 100, 46% is not good ratings. Killings, 285 killings by police. Based on population, a black person was 4.3 times as likely, and a Latin person was 1 times as likely to be killed by police as whites. Whites and Latins, you know, out of 10,004 civilian complaints of police misconduct, 13% were ruled in favor of civilians. Something's wrong with that. 61% of all arrests were for low-level non-violent offenses from 2013 to 2021. Offenses that wouldn't have to be if they had the right help. It'll tell you the number of officers per population. Deadly force, 285 killings by police from just statewide. It's getting to where it's scary to go out. Police accountability is 18%. They do no wrong. You know? For police discrimination, only 2% was ruled for the civilians. You could tell he just looked like he was prejudiced to me and racist. He did. That sheriff did. We have, look at how many arrests for low-level offenses. Right here. Higher arrest rate for low-level offenses than 6% of the states. It has the disparities. All arrests for low-level offenses, 61%. Drug possession, 14%. Violent crimes, 3%. Are you kidding me? Deaths in jail, 248 deaths from 2013 to 2019. People in jail without being convicted, 66%. Jail incarceration rate, we are the highest, man. 31,790 average daily jail population. What? And a lot of that is low-level crimes. Low-level crimes. Low-level. I wonder where my county is. Ironton, 46%. Look, it's got 2% plus in the, what category is that? In the 5 years, higher. And what is this? This is rankings are based upon 0 to 100 percentage scale. States with higher scores use less force, make fewer arrests for low-level offenses, solve murder cases more often, and hold officers more accountable, and spend less on policing. We only hold, they only have like the accountability is like 26%. Please don't yell. I know everybody probably heard that. I don't care, kids. It is what it is. Wow. Ironton, 46%. What do y'all think about that? I wonder what our cops think about that, about this scorecard. This is the first nationwide evaluation of policing in the United States. It was built using data from state and federal databases, public records requests to local police departments, and media reports. While police data is never perfect, and there are additional indicators that still need to be tracked, the police scorecard is designed to provide insight into many important issues in policing. I agree. So it says use this scorecard to identify issues with police departments that require the most urgent interventions and hold officials accountable for implementing solutions. I agree. We need alternatives to policing because it says, for example, cities with higher rates of low level arrests, we have too many low level arrests in the whole state, could benefit most from the solutions that create alternatives to policing and arrest for these offenses. In cities where police make fewer arrests overall but use more force when making arrests, communities could benefit significantly from policies designed to hold police accountable for excessive force. In cities where complaints of police misconduct are rarely ruled in favor of civilians, could benefit from creating an oversight structure to independently investigate these complaints. I agree. Advocacy. Contact your state's governor and attorney general. I've tried that and it doesn't work. Well, I'm not going to put my address on here, but guys, you see what I'm talking about. I hope. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please like, share, and subscribe. Guys, I'm going to hop off here. I hope that this was informative. I hope it helped in some way. I hope everyone goes over to that page and, you know, just check it out, man. It might help us figure some stuff out because we got to come up with solutions. And statewide, I totally am for police reform. So and we rank high in police brutality, and it's awful, and accountability. And all right, guys, be the reason that you believe in, or someone believes in good people. Be the reason someone believes in good people. Be the change you want to see. Rick Sparrow uses that one, so I won't do that. But guys, have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow evening. I need an intro video and an ending.